review of the newest Dream Theater album, Parasomnia. This is Dream Theater's 16th album, and it is the first time in about 16 years that they've played with their original founding drummer, Mike Portnoy. So there's a lot of history with Dream Theater. I am a huge Dream Theater fan. What I will say is, going into this, I really didn't know what to expect. I purposely didn't listen to a whole lot of the singles that came out. They had released for a few months different singles that were coming out from this album. The only one I listened to before the album was one that came out most recently that was called Midnight Messiah. I did a review of that song on this channel, and I mean, it was a very standard Dream Theater song, like the new Star Wars movies when they first kind of came out more recently were kind of standard versions of the old ones, just kind of slightly redone. And I was cool with that song. It didn't sound anything crazy, fresh, or new. It sounded like the Dream Theater I'm used to, and I was cool with that. I didn't know what they were going to do for the rest of these songs. And the last few Dream Theater albums with the different drummer, I appreciate the drummer that was in the band. I like him a lot, but he sounded more to me like somebody playing the Dream Theater songs to copy them. And then there was just something more robotic, technical, but almost robotic about how Mike Mangini plays and how a lot of the songs sounded to me with him in them. This new Dream Theater album to me sounds the most these guys are clicking, playing together. There's just a fit. You can hear the fit. The instruments go together perfectly. The sounds, the textures, what they're playing. You can tell these guys have been doing this not only for a long time, but they've been doing it for a long time together. Mike Mangini is amazing, and he can play anything that Mike Portnoy writes. But I don't know that he can write the stuff that Mike Portnoy writes. There's a playfulness, I don't know how else to describe it, versus a more serious, technical, aggressive nature in Mike Mangini. Mike Portnoy, there's a playfulness about what he does. And it reflects to me. These songs are great. I was blown away by what I heard. I don't think this is my favorite Dream Theater album, not right now. My favorite Dream Theater album is Train of Thought, and my second favorite is Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. This album, to me, is those two albums combined. It has the heaviness and the straightforward kind of metal aggressiveness that Train of Thought has, but it does it in such a thematic way with all these different sounds and textures and things that come in that just support how heavy it is, that it reminds me of the thematicism and some of the other stuff that they have going on that's more about the art of it, so to speak. That reminds me of the Scenes from a Memory. I don't believe this is a concept album, but all the songs have a very dark, Halloween, nightmare, bad guy, boogeyman kind of vibe to them. It's a really dark sounding album in general, although it's Dream Theater. There's all these bombastic, bright, fun parts that oftentimes kind of come out of nowhere. Some of the songs are the heaviest songs, where when Train of Thought came out, I thought these are the heaviest songs they ever wrote. They didn't have really 8-string guitars then. They got 8-string guitars now, and these are some of the heaviest songs when you take that into consideration. But even A Broken Man, the dissonance that they get in the intro riffs that they're playing, it's just awesome. I loved everything about this album. I can't wait to listen to it more and more. I've listened to it twice straight through since. You get pretty much mostly regular Dream Theater songs and actual songs. You get out of all the tracks. The intro track is a instrumental, and then there's a track towards the end that's like a minute kind of interlude. There's a bunch of songs that are 7 to 10 minutes long. Then there's a 20-minute kind of epic song at the end. The 20-minute song at the end is a good song, but it's not as epic, I think, as like Octavarium and some of their other epic songs are. It was, at least going through it, of the longer songs, not the interlude and stuff. The last long song was probably my least favorite, but going back and listening to it, that might change. If you were wondering what this was going to sound like, if you didn't know, it's heavy, it's thematic, it breathes. There's not just in-your-face aggression. There's tons of moving parts. Some of the smoothest transitions, when they go from style changes or tempo changes, they do it like breathing. There are times where, I'm used to time changes. I'm used to weird stuff coming at me. But there were times where I literally just said out loud, listening, like, oh my God, listen how smooth. Or I didn't expect that. It's just such a great album. I'm so happy that this is what it was. It's kind of like if you've ever had a tattoo, if you've had a lot of tattoos, they all suck. You go into it at some point thinking that every one is the worst one you're going to have feeling wise. And if you do and it's not, then you come out okay. I came into this having no idea what I was going to hear at all. Was it going to be so out of left field with Mike being gone for so long? Was it going to be more robotic and things like the more recent stuff that I haven't liked a lot? No. This is them firing on all cylinders, taking all the stuff that they used to do that was cool, but somehow, I don't know how, after all this time, after 16 albums, they still have new and fresh stuff that they're doing that fit really well. And man, I was just blown away in the most happy way. I didn't listen to any songs coming into it. I tried not to, other than Midnight Messiah. I didn't know what I was going to get, and I'm so happy I waited. I'm so happy I listened to it in this way, and it is just great. If you are a heavy music fan at all, you need to listen to the new Dream Theater album.